owned by the Vernon family. Casey's is open Monday and Friday from 7 to 3, Tuesday through Thursday 7 to 7, and Saturday and Sunday 7 to 2. Come check out their new items and delicious entrees. And remember, Casey's can cater your next event. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Casey's is the place to eat. Call 724-550-4126.
The weather's warming up, and those big outdoor projects are calling. So, who are you going to call? Well, no. How about you call 3P Excavating and Plumbing of Smithfield? From French drains and septic systems to site prep for homes and buildings, plus driveway and utility line clearing, 3P's does it all. Get your property ready the right way. Call 3P Excavating and Plumbing today at 724-880-5215 or find them on Facebook.
The wait is over. It's time to manja. Manja featuring Delalo is now open at Live Casino. Part market, part cafe, Manja offers fresh, authentic pasta, pizza, hoagies, salads, ice cream, cocktails, and more made with Delalo's finest ingredients. Eat in, grab and go, or take home a taste of Italy from our retail market. Meet you at Manja featuring Delalo. Now open inside Live Casino, Route 30 at Westmoreland Mall. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your local station, WMVS.
Good morning, and welcome to another Saturday edition of the Sportsline, being brought to you this morning by my good buddy Tom Vernon and Casey's Sports Cafe, located right here on South Mount Vernon Avenue in Uniontown, the Firestone Insurance Agency in Normalville, and by Bogies at Duck Hollow, now under new management, serving lunches and dinners Monday through Saturday from 12 to 9 and Sunday from 12 to 5. Come on out, enjoy fine dining and a round of golf. Phone 724-439-2150, located at 374 Duck Hollow Road in Uniontown. George Von Benko with you on a overcast and chilly Saturday morning. I know you'll still be out and about doing some things on the weekend, but I hope you'll pause from your travels this morning to pick up the telephone, give me a call. Two-way sports talk, the lifeblood of any sports talk show. Love to hear from you on a variety of subjects today. And you just pick up the phone and dial the talk line, 724-438-4593. That number again, 724-438-4593. So, we are going to announce in just a bit this year's class for the Fayette County Sports Hall of Fame, the 2026 Fayette County Sports Hall of Fame class. I'll be making that announcement momentarily. The golf outing and luncheon is slated for June 19th at Pleasant Valley Golf Club in Connellsville. But before we get to that, let's get to the scoreboard. And in Major League Baseball action last night in the National League, the Pirates snapped a losing streak. They beat the Cincinnati Reds in Game 1 of their weekend series 9-1. Other National League play, Chicago Cubs over Arizona 6-5. Milwaukee beats Washington 6-1. Philadelphia Phillies down Miami 6-5. St. Louis over the LA Dodgers 7-2. And Atlanta takes Colorado 8-6. Interleague play, Tampa Bay shuts out the San Francisco Giants 3-0. New York Mets beat the LA Angels 4-3. And the Chicago White Sox beat San Diego 8-2. In the American League, Boston Red Sox over the Houston Astros 3-1. Texas nips the Detroit Tigers 5-4. New York Yankees over the Baltimore Orioles 7-2. Toronto beats Minnesota 7-3. Kansas City over Seattle 7-6. And Cleveland takes the Athletics 8-5. In the National Hockey League playoffs last night, in overtime, Tampa Bay Lightning shut out Montreal 1-0, and they force a Game 7 in that series. Other games last night, they were all Game 6s. but there's only going to be one Game 7 out of the 3 games because Buffalo knocks off Boston 4-1. The Sabres advance over the Bruins, and Vegas Golden Knights beat Utah 5-1. Vegas advances in that series. In the NBA playoffs, the Detroit Pistons beat Orlando 93-79. Overtime, Toronto 112, Cleveland Cavaliers 110, and the LA Lakers take Houston 98-78. So that is a look at our scoreboard. Turning our attention to sports obituaries, and it's a sad day for sports fans in Fayette County and Western Pennsylvania. A good friend, a guy that I've known for quite a while and respected greatly, has passed away. Thursday evening, Tom Sankovich, the coach and architect of some of the greatest baseball teams in the history of Connellsville Area High School, passed away at age 85. Sank is credited with establishing Connellsville Area High School baseball beginning in 1971. He coached the Falcons for 20 years and led the team to a state championship in 1989, as well as 4 WPIAL crowns in 1989, 1986, 1982, and 1973. Under Sankovich, the Falcons also claimed 10 section championships. He compiled a career record of 424 and 107. The Connellsville baseball field was officially named Tom E. Sankovich Field in 2007. Sank was a 2010 inductee into the Falcon Foundation Hall of Fame, a 2014 inductee into the WPIA Hall of Fame, and a 2015 inductee into the Fayette County Sports Hall of Fame. His 1973, 1982, and 1989 teams have also been inducted into the Fayette County Sports Hall of Fame. Sank was an athlete back in the day. He played football for the North Union Rams and then played at the University of Maryland, where he had a nice career for the Terrapins. Fayette County losing one of the greats, Tom Sankovich, passing away at the age of 85. So, here's what's happening today. I'm going to announce the Fayette County Sports Hall of Fame class when we come back from a break. We'll announce that class and talk a little bit about that. In hour number 2, of course, the Kentucky Derby is being run today. And we'll talk about the Derby with my handicapper, Tom Wright, at 11:08, coming out of the news. And then some baseball talk coming up at 11:30 with longtime area baseball writer John Parado, who will join me at 11:30. That's what's on tap on the show today. When we come back, I'll make the announcement for the Fayette County Sports Hall of Fame 2026 class right after this timeout.
Gone to Paradise, the premier Jimmy Buffett tribute band, comes to the State Theater Center for the Arts Saturday, May 9th at 7 p.m. From coast to coast, Gone to Paradise is the go-to tribute band for parrot heads everywhere, as this high-energy and dedicated group of talented musicians captures and celebrates the music of Jimmy Buffett. Gone to Paradise, Saturday, May 9th, 7 p.m. Get tickets online at statetheater.info or call the box office at 724-439-1360. Is it time for your first home? Or time to trade up to a home that fits your lifestyle? It's time to visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with trade-in and trade-up deals. Imagine beautiful, new, energy-efficient homes packed with the features you've been dreaming about. Trade in and trade up at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. Trade-in value toward purchase of a new home determined by resale value and evaluation by home center manager. Additional deposit may be required.
You can go to Big Box Medical Office.
Now serving number 3,943.
Or
Hi, come on in. How are you?
for personal, professional health care you can trust, see Dr. Paul Hardley and nurse practitioners Tara Bozak, Jessica Reckhart, and Stacy Morris, proudly serving our community for over 30 years. Need care today? Walk-ins are always welcome. For your primary care, call Dr. Paul Hartley at 724-437-1109 or visit ppcp.org.
Or
Serving number 3,944.
For 35 years, Fay Penn Economic Development Council has been committed to its mission of growing Fayette County's economy and helping to bring jobs to the area. Whether you're a startup, existing, or new business in Fayette County, Fay Penn's lending team can work with you to decide if the Fay Penn Loan Fund suits your business's needs. Fay Penn's Loan Fund offers loans starting at $10,000, pending qualifications. Visit faypenn.org to learn more about financing opportunities for your business and to complete a pre-application form.
It's gorgeous outside, which means it's time to get to Bittersweet Cafe of Farmington. From their incredible daily lunch specials featuring farm-to-table fresh ingredients to their refreshing drinks, frozen treats, smoothies, and iced tea, Bittersweet Cafe has something for everyone. Enjoy this beautiful spot nestled in the Laurel Highland Mountains, just a few miles outside of Ohiopyle on Farmington, Ohiopyle Road. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Hi everyone, this is Kelly Clark with Autoland Hyundai in downtown Uniontown. 724-208-5281. What makes buying your next vehicle for me worthwhile? I make it a very easy 5-step process. You look, you shop, you ask, you decide. And I listen. Kelly Clark, Autoland Hyundai, 724-208-5281. 724-208-5281. Kelly Clark, Autoland Hyundai. I'll make you a good deal.
If you're an athlete, you know the importance of a strong recovery. NovaCare provides several athletic training programs geared toward athletic-related injuries and collaborates with Albert Gallatin, Uniontown, Fraser, California, Jefferson Morgan, Waynesburg, West Green, and Mapletown school districts to help student athletes stay at their best. From coordinating additional specialist care to treating on-site injuries, their experts cater to your personal needs. Specialized services include concussion diagnosis and rehabilitation and treatment for sports-specific injuries. For more information on athletic training at NovaCare, visit novacare.com or contact your local office today.
Hi, this is TJ Watt, and you're listening to the Sportsline with George Von Benko on WMBS Radio.
And welcome back to the Sportsline on this Saturday morning. Before we open up the phone lines, I'm going to announce the 2026 class for the Fayette County Sports Hall of Fame. The class was selected voting by the Hall of Fame membership in conjunction with the selection committee going over the voting and finalizing the class. And these are the folks who were selected for the 2026 class of the Fayette County Sports Hall of Fame. Former South Union athlete and longtime Uniontown coach and educator, Rich Bierbauer, is in this year's class. Also selected, former Laurel Highlands three-sport athlete, and then went on to play football at the University of Tulsa, Billy Beener. Billy Beener from Laurel Highlands in this year's class. Also selected for the 2026 class, former Albert Gallatin basketball star Shante Hall, who played at Penn State and Rutgers. 2026 class also includes former Laurel Highlands standout, an all-stater who went on to play at the University of Pittsburgh and was part of their national championship team, George Link of Laurel Highlands in this year's class. Former Uniontown football standout who played at Michigan State, Brad McLeod, has been selected to the 2026 class. Former Fairchance Georges standout athlete, Jay Record, is a part of the 2026 class. Basketball standout from Geibel High School, Erica Hogan Gaster, who also played at St. Vincent, is part of this year's class. And an outstanding golfer, tremendous baseball player at Connellsville, but really well known as one of the best golfers, if not the best golfer to come out of Fayette County. Jason Tischka from Connellsville is in the 2026 class. 2 deceased were selected for this class. One is Ron Fidella, outstanding athlete at South Union and Salem, long distinguished career as a baseball coach and then a longtime assistant for Harold Horst Taylor at Laurel Highlands, and then LH athletic director, the late Ron Fidella, part of the 2026 class. And from baseball, John Kolar, Masontown Albert Gallatin product, who was in the Pirates farm system. John Kolar is the other deceased member of the 2026 class. 2 teams were selected. 2005 Connellsville Wrestling, WPIAL and PIAA Championship Wrestling Team from 2005. And then 3-time winner, 3 years in a row, 1984 through 1987, Leckrone Baseball Team, County League Baseball champions. They were selected to the Hall of Fame. That is the 2026 class for the Fayette County Sports Hall of Fame. The golf outing and luncheon is going to be held on June 19th at Pleasant Valley Golf Club in Connellsville. June 19th is the golf outing and the Hall of Fame luncheon. So that's our class. All right, let's open up the phone lines. Take our first phone call of the morning. Good morning. You're on the Sports Line.
Good morning, George.
Good morning, Charles.
Yeah, about Sankovich, wasn't he originally from Vanderbilt?
He lived in Vanderbilt. Yeah.
Yeah. Was he?
His house was in Vanderbilt. Yeah.
Was he a native there?
No, he was from North Union originally.
Okay. But another thing, his 1989 team that was state champs, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Terry Mulholland the only pitcher to beat him?
I'd have to go back and look at that, but you may be right about that. Terry would have been pitching for Laurel Highlands at the time.
Because I think the Falcons only lost 1 game that year, I think. You know, I could be wrong.
Well, what makes me wonder about it, and I'd have to go back and look at my notes from the column I wrote on Sankovich years ago. They had a very spirited rivalry with Mount Pleasant, too.
Yeah, because Mount Pleasant had some good baseball teams.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, but we lost a character. What a guy Sank was. He really was something else.
I met him once, I think, over at St. Trees, on a Saturday night years ago. But great baseball man, no question. A championship, what was it, 4 WPIL championship?
Where's my notes on him? He captured 4 WPIL crowns, 10 section championships, and 1 state championship.
Now to the stuff at hand.
Well, you didn't get your wish for what was going to happen in the division.
No, I did not. And I have to say, don't ever think that the St. Louis Cardinals are out of anything. Because this was a year that I thought, that I heard, that the Pirates were going to be better and the Cardinals were going to be worse. Baloney. It's the same Cardinal stuff, George. Their rookies come up and play like 5-year veterans.
Well, the warts for the Pirates really showed through in that series.
Yes.
You cannot walk batters. It comes back to haunt you, and they walked a ton of batters in that series. And once again, defensive liabilities showed through and really hurt the Pirates. And that is going to be an ongoing thing throughout the season.
Okay, but there's a triple head to that, George. The third thing that I think is equally bad. Nobody hits with runners in scoring position.
Well, they struggled. Now, they did get some hits last night, but no, they struggled against that. Ozuna finally did something last night, but, that's starting to look more and more like they maybe would have been wiser to spend the money elsewhere, like for a third baseman.
Yeah. But George, that first game Monday night, after we scored a run in each of the first 2 innings, I knew that was coming when they did not add on. Because St. Louis had gone 35 innings without scoring, at PNC Park. And I just knew that the Cardinals were going to get them in the ninth inning.
Yeah, and another one of my peeves with what the Pirates did during the offseason is actually starting today. Carmen Mudzinski, who is much better suited as a relief pitcher than he is a starter, and that has been proven over and over again. Their failure to add a veteran starter for the back end of that rotation has affected everything. It's affected their starting rotation, and it's affected their bullpen.
And there were some out there that they could have gotten.
There were at least 3 or 4 that they could have gotten.
George, let me ask you this. I still think the Pirates' position player roster is the worst of all 5 teams in the division. Do you agree?
Probably. I think, as I've said, there are holes. There's a hole at third base. Their defensive outfield is terrible. They're okay. Their biggest, and he hit 2 home runs last night. But their biggest weakness is catching.
Yeah. I mean, just because he did that for 1 game
doesn't mean it's going to continue. And Joey Bart hasn't been much better.
That's not consistency.
Yeah.
George, the sad thing, and to some extent I'm guilty of it myself. But a lot of these people, the Pirates made some moves in the off-season. Finally, they look like some of the other contenders. Finally, they made some moves in the off-season, and they may have been better. But did they think the other 4 teams in the division were going to stand still?
Well, the Cubs went out and spent a ton of money.
And,
And the Brewers just continue to do it. They allocate their money better than anybody else in the division. The Brewers do. And then, I'm a little surprised by Cincinnati and the way they've been playing because their pitching is a little better than I thought it was going to be. But then again, I love who they got managing that club. He gets the most out of his players, and that's Terry Francona.
George, don't even talk about that with me. I'm not mad at you. I think you know what I'm talking about. He should be managing his boyhood team that he rooted for. There's no excuse for that, but that's enough of that. But anyway, I still think that club is going to finish last in the division. Wow. Oh, they may be better. They win a few more games.
Well, look at the way the division is playing. I mean, the division itself is a surprise to everybody in baseball, how well they've been playing.
Yes, but if you don't win the division, George, just having a winning record.
Not with the way the wild card is set up in the other divisions and their strength. No.
No. I mean, and if they don't make the postseason from here, where does this franchise go, particularly with the idea that there might not be any baseball next year at all?
Well, that's beginning to look more and more like a real possibility, too.
Well, George, I want to move a couple of the subs. Which team has impressed you most in the Stanley Cup playoffs?
I'll tell you, I didn't see them play an awful lot during the regular season. I love the way the Montreal Canadiens play. Youngest team in the playoffs, and I just love the way they play.
Let's see.
They have a Game 7 coming up with Tampa Bay, and I think Tampa Bay will probably prevail. But I think Montreal, with all of that youth, they've got a young goaltender who's been outstanding. The Canadians look like a team to be reckoned with for a few years to come now.
Let's see, that seventh game is in Tampa.
It's in Tampa. Yeah.
Okay.
But I've been watching that series. That has been great hockey. Outstanding hockey.
And I was watching it the other night when Tampa won that not that overtime game, but that 3-2 game at the Bell Center.
Mm-hmm.
I had to fight back from still calling it the Forum, but George, do you think that it maybe not next year, but maybe in 2 or 3 years, that Les Habitants will bring a cup back?
Oh, with this nucleus, if they're able to keep people together and add a couple of pieces, I think they're on the right track. I really do. I think as I said, I think they're going to be a force for the next few years. That's the youngest club in the NHL.
Yeah, George. And of course, they may instill in them, the Canadian mystique that it's like going.
I'll tell you another team that's worth watching, Buffalo.
But yeah.
And they're a young team as well.
Well, let me ask, George, what do you think happens to the Edmonton Oilers if they do not win the Stanley Cup this year? I mean, how?
Well, Edmonton, weren't they eliminated the other night?
Did
Anaheim eliminated them.
Oh.
Yeah.
So again,
I'm pretty sure. Let me just check my phone. I don't have the scores from the other night, but I think Anaheim won that game the other night, which would have eliminated them. Did Anaheim eliminate Edmonton in the NHL playoffs? I'm checking mine. Well, if it ever comes up here. Yes.
Okay.
They won the series 4-2, so they're out.
George, I'm wondering will Connor McDavid ever get his cup?
Not the way things are going in Edmonton. He's not getting any younger. They got two of the best, McDavid and Draisaitl. That's a juggernaut offensively, but their goaltending is a sieve. And they've got one of our problems. I'm glad they got him, Tristan Jarry.
Yeah, I know. George, of course it's what took Lemieux, 6 or 7 years to win a cup, know? But you could see progression being made all through the 80s, and then, of course, that big...
Well, they've been to the finals. They were in the finals the last 2 years.
Edmonton.
Yeah.
I know, and Florida beat them.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the Penguins in the 80s.
Yeah. You could see progress being made, but unless they get their defense and their goaltending straightened out, it doesn't matter. You can be a tremendous offensive club. You're going to win a lot of games, but that is not the way you win in the playoffs. No. You win with goaltending and defense.
Well, yeah. The Penguins have never been known as a great defensive organization, but they had enough defense, in
Well, no, they had a goaltender.
Well,
Tommy Barrasso was a big-time goaltender.
George, I was coming to that.
Yeah.
But they also had muckers and grinders, too, that, went to the corners and come out with the puck. I'm talking about guys like Mike Needham and Jock Callender and Jimmy Pack, people, they had great role players in those years. But let me ask you this as I go out. Do you think that Connor McDavid might ask for a trade?
Well, there are rumors circulating about McDavid. I don't know what's going to happen. Remember, Edmonton at one point traded Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's if somebody can trade Gretzky, certainly McDavid could be traded too at some point. There's a lot of talk about that. I don't know whether that's going to happen. By the way, I do want to go back. You said impressive teams. Yeah. Anaheim is fun to watch. Now they are not great defensively and in goal, but boy, have they got some really, really talented offensive players. They are a fun team to watch.
Anaheim has that local fella in goal, don't they? Isn't he a Pittsburgher?
You're talking about Gibson. He's not there anymore.
What?
You're talking about Gibson. He's not in Anaheim anymore.
Oh, he's
Gibson, I believe, was with Detroit toward the end of the season.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You were talking about Gretzky.
Yeah.
Wasn't it skillful? Didn't Jack Kent Cooke own the Kings at that time?
I believe he still owned them, but I'd have to check the timeline.
Because he wanted to bring a big name.
He wanted to put hockey on the map in Los Angeles, and that was a way to do it,
Because the Kings won 2 cups, but, what about, how long?
Gretzky didn't win a cup in L.A.
No, when did the Kings win their cups?
They won it during the right around the era when the Penguins were really good, but that would have been in the 2000s, I think, is when the Kings won their cups.
Let's see, the Kings won their cups before the Blackhawks won theirs, didn't they?
Let me
think.
When did the Kings win their Stanley Cups? Well, we'll check it. Yeah, 2012 and 2014.
And what the Hawks came a couple of years later. No, the Penguins won in 16 and 17.
Right.
When did the Hawks win?
Chicago Blackhawks Stanley Cups. They won in 2010, 2013, and 2015. They were right in the same mix.
Okay, they alternated with the Kings, I guess.
Yeah.
Jordan, who's going to win a run for the Roses today?
Well, I'm going to hold off on that. My guy comes on at 11:08. We're going to talk Kentucky Derby right after the news, and he's going to reveal his pick, and I'll reveal my pick at that time. Okay?
Be interested to hear Johnny Baseball. So, George, thanks.
All right, thank you for the call.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care. And that frees up both of our phone lines. Do come ahead with your questions and comments. We should have no problems getting through. Call the talk line. The number is 724-438-4593. And with the jam-packed hour number 2, if you want to talk to me, best time to do it is right now. Pick up the phone, call the talk line, 724-438-4593, because we're not going to have a lot of time to go to the phones in hour number 2. We'll be back right after this.
Wind, hail, sudden leaks. When your roof takes a beating, we're here for you at AR Roofing and Remodeling. We're a locally and veteran-owned contractor, available 24/7 for repairs. As an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor, we get the job done right. Call 724-550-3064 or visit arremodels.com for your free estimate.
AR Roofing, never settle.
In a busy household, everybody's online at once. Kids streaming, someone working from home, the whole house going full speed. Armstrong Fiber keeps up. Multiple users, multiple screens, 0 slowdowns. This isn't a network built somewhere else and handed off. We engineer it, we install it, and we maintain it right here in our community. Because you're not a ticket number to us. You're a neighbor. Proudly local, fiber-powered. Armstrong, keeping you connected. Visit armstrongfiber.com.
Why move? Grow into the home you love and transform your space with First Federal of Greene County. They offer home equity loans, home equity lines of credit, and FHA Title I home improvement loans, all to keep your roots planted where you want to be. Visit a loan officer today or lock in your rate before the market heats up and apply online anytime at ffgc.bank. First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County, member FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS number 458729.
The wait is over. It's time to manja. Manja featuring Delalo is now open at Live Casino. Part market, part cafe, Manja offers fresh, authentic pasta, pizza, hoagies, salads, ice cream, cocktails, and more made with Delalo's finest ingredients. Eat in, grab and go, or take home a taste of Italy from our retail market. Meet you at Manja featuring Delalo. Now open inside Live Casino, Route 30 at Westmoreland Mall. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Chris Parker Jr. This warm weather makes me think about a vacation getaway.
The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event is still on. You can get away not only in a brand new Hyundai, you'll get away with low APR financing and our great selection of over 150 new cars in stock.
I'm listening.
How about a new 26 Tucson with 0% financing for 60 months, plus no payment for 90 days? There are fantastic lease specials too. Lease an Elantra SE for $189 per month, or 26 Kona SE for $229 per month. And there's a great lease incentive of up to $5,500 on the all-wheel drive 26 Tucson Limited.
Plus Hyundai Owner Assurance, America's Best Warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain protection, and 5-year unlimited miles roadside assistance with every new Hyundai purchased. Autoland Hyundai, 25 East Fayette Street, downtown Uniontown, or visit their website, autolandhyundai.com.
And remember, you'll always pay less to drive the best at Autoland Hyundai.
Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group of Janie Montgomery Scott in Uniontown is a proud sponsor of Sportsline. When you work with Janie, it's about going beyond investing. It's about connecting your life and your finances in a way that makes sense for you. The team partners with you through each stage of life to help you set and reach your financial goals. To learn more about the Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group at Janie, be sure to check out their website at www.lhwag.com. Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group of Janie Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC.
Looking for a great place to eat in Uniontown? Stop by Casey's Sports Cafe, located at 243 South Mount Vernon Avenue and proudly owned by the Vernon family. Casey's is open Monday and Friday from 7 to 3, Tuesday through Thursday 7 to 7, and Saturday and Sunday 7 to 2. Come check out their new items and delicious entrees. And remember, Casey's can cater your next event. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Casey's is the place to eat. Call 724-550-4126.
This is Pittsburgh Steelers Hall of Famer Coach Dick LeBeau. You're listening to the Sports Line with George Von Benko on WMBS.
And welcome back to the Sports Line on this Saturday morning. I want to remind folks, if you'd like to get in on open line sports talk and express your opinion, now is the time to do it because we have a jam-packed second hour talking the Derby with Tom Wright and then talking baseball with John Parado, so we're not going to have a lot of time for phone calls. We do have a wide open board. Great time for you to jump into the conversation right now. Talk line number 724-438-4593. 724-438-4593. Something that I touched on briefly last week, what I want to bring it up again. If you've been following closely what's going on in high school athletics in Pennsylvania, the boundary schools, the public schools, have been at a distinct disadvantage in the playoffs for the last several years. Championships being won by private, charter, parochial, non-boundary schools. Well, they're trying to do something about it. on April 29th, the Pennsylvania House overwhelmingly passed House Bill number 41 by a 178-23 vote, which allows the PIAA to create separate playoffs for public boundary schools and private charter parochial non-boundary schools. The bill now heads to the Senate with a potential vote by June of 2026, aiming to address the competitive balance concerns. And so they'll be able to split the championship brackets, something I have been in favor of. That's the way they did it for many, many years until they went to this system. And just the number of championships won by non-boundary schools has been alarming over the past few years. The biggest thing about this bill is the protection clause. There's an added amendment to the bill that protects the PIAA from potential lawsuits resulting from this separation. And that had been a big stumbling block for the PIAA. They were afraid of being taken to court. Well, that protection removes that. I wonder how you folks feel about that. Do you think it's high time they did this? Certainly the numbers over the past few years of championships indicate that there is a competitive imbalance. So I'd like to know what I think that's a huge step. I think it will pass the Senate, and then it's going to be thrown right into the lap of the PIAA, which has been resistant for years. But the main resistance has been the fact that they thought they were going to get sued. That protection clause removes that. That's one thing we can talk about. We just finished the NFL draft. Aaron Rodgers still up in the air. I don't know about you folks, but I'm getting tired of it. I mean, if you're going to be back, you're going to be back. If you're not, just tell us, and you move on. But we're having another soap opera again with this. The word was he was going to tell us before the draft. That didn't happen. And now we're getting into the OTAs and the rookie camp and everything else, and there's really no need for him to be there, but I'd still like to know what he's going to do. And as I said, I'm getting a little bit tired of it. I don't know how you feel about it. The Penguins being ousted by the Flyers, I know that stings. But how do you feel about the Penguins season? I mean, nobody that I knew who covered the club really believed that this was a year that the Penguins would make the playoffs. They thought it was going to be a complete rebuilding year. Cal Dubas did some good things. I think Dan Muse in his first year did a credible job as head coach. They got 98 points, but I think maybe things caught up to them a little bit in the playoffs. Did not respond well against the Flyers, and that stings because anytime you lose to the Flyers, it's not a good feeling. But, you know, how do you feel about the season? You got into the playoffs. You weren't able to advance past the first round. Was it a successful season? Are you disappointed? Where do you go from here? They've got some interesting choices to make about who's coming back. Is it the end of the big three as we know it? Crosby, Malkin, and Letang. I think Letang may be back. He still has some contract left, although he had a very iffy season, and he scored a couple of goals in the playoffs that were big goals, but he also gave up a ton of goals when he was on the ice, and he did better when they moved him down and gave him less playing time in the pecking order on the blue line. Malkin, very much up in the air. He had a solid season, but is very much up in the air whether he will return, and he has indicated that if he does part ways with the Penguins, he still wants to continue to play. So if they don't bring him back, then he probably will wind up playing somewhere else in the NHL. So your thoughts on the Penguins would be welcome. And want to remind everybody, again, you're letting valuable time slip away. If you're counting on calling in hour number 2, you're not going to get through. We've got a jam-packed hour in hour number 2. If you want to talk on the phone and give me your opinion on something, or ask a question, now is the time to do it. We will not have a lot of time for phone calls in hour number 2 because of the 2 guests that we have. So we've got a wide open board, and if you want to talk to me, do come ahead with your questions and comments. I'd be interested in your thoughts on the Fayette County Sports Hall of Fame class that I released earlier in the show as well. So pick up the phone, dial the talk line, 724-438-4593. Should have no problems getting through. 724-438-4593 is the number to call. And in case you missed it earlier in the show, I announced the 2026 class for the Fayette County Sports Hall of Fame. The golf outing and luncheon for the Hall of Fame is slated for June 19th at Pleasant Valley Golf Club in Connellsville. This year's class, former South Union and longtime Uniontown assistant coach and educator Rich Bierbauer, former Laurel Highlands and Tulsa standout Billy Beener, former Albert Gallatin star and who played at Penn State and Rutgers, Shantae Hall, former Laurel Highlands standout who played at Pitt on their national championship team, lineman George Link, is part of the class. Uniontown star and Michigan State standout Brad McClee was named to the class. Fair Chance George's athletic standout Jay Record is part of the class. Erica Hogan Gaster, who played at Geibel and then at St. Vincent, was named to the 2026 class. And Connellsville baseball and an outstanding golfing standout, maybe arguably the best golfer to come out of Fayette County, Jason Tiska, is part of the 2026 class. In the deceased category, longtime LH assistant coach. He was the head baseball coach for many years and then an able assistant to Horace Taylor, then became the athletic director, was a great athlete in his own right at South Union and at Salem, is in their Hall of Fame. The late Ron Fidella is part of the class. And Masontown and Albert Gallatin baseball standout John Kolar is also part of the class. 2 teams were named. 2005 Connellsville wrestling team, WPIAL and PIAA champs in 2005. And then from Fayette County Baseball League, Leckrone, 1984 through 1987, 3 straight championships for Leckrone, Fayette County League baseball champs. That is the 2026 class for the Fayette County Sports Hall of Fame. I'd like to know how you feel about that and whether you plan on maybe attending the golf outing and the luncheon, which is coming up June 19th at Pleasant Valley Golf Club in Connellsville. Now, we have the 152nd running of the Kentucky Derby coming up. Post time for the race, 6:57. Later today at 6:57, post time for the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs. It looks like it's going to be very overcast there, but they think the rain is going to hold off. I will get into the Derby in depth with my handicapper who always comes on for the Triple Crown races, the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes. Tom Wright will join me after the news at about 11:08 in hour number 2. And then we have a great baseball guest, long-time area baseball writer, John Parado, will join me at 11:30 to talk Bucco baseball and baseball in general. So I tried to tell you, if you wanted to get in on the phone conversation, this was the time to do it. We're going to have very little time in hour number 2, and we had an open board at 724-438-4593, but you did not take advantage of it, so you're going to have a difficult time if you want to talk to me in hour number 2. We also mentioned the public-private debate. I think it is a great step in the right direction that the House passed that bill the bill which would allow the PIAA to separate the public playoffs in high school from the private, the charter, and the parochial school playoffs, going back to the way it was for many, many years. It now will move on to the Senate, and the vote in the Senate, from what I understand, is expected to be taken in June. And I think it's a good first step. Just the sheer numbers in the championships of the non-boundary schools beating the boundary schools was a reason to take a look at competitive balance, or if you want to call it imbalance, in the state playoffs. So this bill takes a step toward that. And the biggest part of the bill was the clause that does not allow people to sue the PIAA if they separate the playoffs. That was a big holdup. If you listen to the double talk the PIAA gave us for making that move, they were afraid of being taken to court. Well, the clause in this bill removes that possibility from happening. The PIAA, if they separate these playoffs, will not be able to be sued. And in my mind, that removes the biggest impediment that the PIAA has always talked about in the double talk that they have always given us about this. All right, we are at the end of hour number 1 of the Sports Line. We have another full hour of sports talk coming up, and we've got some great conversation coming up. As I mentioned, handicapper Tom Wright will join me to talk about the 152nd running of the Run for the Roses, the Kentucky Derby, later today at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. Then the Pirates got off to a great start. They've stumbled a little bit lately, got back on track last night, but longtime baseball writer and a longtime friend of mine, John Parado, will join me at 11:30 to talk Bucco baseball, and we'll also talk about baseball in general. And I want to ask him about the possibility of no baseball next year, because I think we're headed in that direction. I think there's going to be either a lockout or a strike, and we won't have baseball next year. I want to ask him about that. But that's what's coming up in hour number 2. That puts a capper on hour number 1. The Sports Line is being brought to you this morning by my good friend Tom Vernon and Casey Sports Cafe, located right here on South Mount Vernon Avenue in Uniontown. The Firestone Insurance Agency in Normalville, and by Bogies at Duck Hollow, now under new management, serving lunches and dinners Monday through Saturday from 12 to 9, Sunday from 12 to 5. Come on out, enjoy fine dining and a round of golf. Phone 724-439-2150, located at 374 Duck Hollow Road in Uniontown. The news is coming your way next from the CBS Radio Network, right here on your local station, 590 AM and 101.1 FM, WMBS, Uniontown, Pennsylvania.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Allison Keys. Spirit Airlines' last flight took off from Detroit and landed in Dallas this morning as a discount airline shuts down operations. It failed to get a bailout from the Trump administration. CBS's Chris Van Cleve with the latest.
The airline shutting down means tens of thousands of flyers are likely stranded mid-trip, so they will have to find other ways home. Several airlines have told CBS News they plan to offer discounted rescue fares to help flyers get home, but Spirit Airlines is no more.
The airline was caught in the skyrocketing gas prices due to the U.S. war in Iran, which is hurting drivers, farmers, and flyers alike. CBS's Wendy Gillette.
Gas prices keep pumping up thanks to a continuing chokehold in the Strait of Hormuz, averaging over $6 a gallon in California.
It's like the grocery store. Keep going up and up and up.
President Trump says prices will quickly drop when the war ends, but when that will happen remains uncertain.
Britain is at its highest state of alert in 4 years after a terrorist knife attack against 2 Jewish men in London. CBS's Rami Inocencio.
One of the victims, 34-year-old Shloimi Rand, was discharged Friday.
The other victim, 76-year-old Moshe Shine, remains in the hospital but stable. The suspect, Essa Suleiman, is a British citizen born in Somalia. In court Friday, he faces charges of attempted murder.
The University of South Florida held a campus vigil for 2 grad students who were found dead after vanishing last month. CBS's Adriana Diaz.
27-year-old Nahida Bristi and her fellow doctoral student, Zamil Lyman, were first reported missing 2 weeks ago. Lyman's body was found last week. His roommate has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder with a weapon in the students' deaths.
The Trump administration is about to start paying out tariffs refunds.
New court documents suggest the first refunds will be issued as early as May 11th. The Supreme Court struck down President Trump's tariffs in February. The administration collected an estimated $166 billion in illegal tariffs. Businesses have been applying for refunds on a special portal, though some have complained of glitches and waiting on hold for hours to get help. Some legal experts have praised how quickly the government created the refund portal. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
What a weekend for NBA fans as the playoffs roll on in a spectacular fashion. The Celtics and 76ers are tied 3-3, and their Game 7 is tonight. The Raptors forced a Game 7 in their battle with the Cavaliers with a dramatic 3-point shot in overtime. The sellout crowd went crazy. The Lakers destroyed the Rockets in Game 6. This is CBS News.
I want to know what's going on in the world. I'm Tony. There are big questions that all of us are asking. I want to get you the answers. How are you? I'm Tony DeCopel. Join me on the CBS Evening News.
Route 21 Furniture. Take the road to your perfect home.
Sleep well tonight. Try out a new mattress from Route 21 Furniture with a large selection of mattresses, all sizes and comfort levels, with great prices, free local delivery and setup, and financing options. Route 21 Furniture. Open weekdays 9 to 5, Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday noon to 4. 724-737-2222 or Route21Furniture.com.
Route 21 Furniture. Take the road to your perfect home.
Uniontown Liquidation Outlet wants to thank you for borrowing our special pay at 2025. Come shop with us for the lowest prices around. We have toys, home goods, tools, electronics, and much more. We offer layaway, so stop in today and ask us how it works. We are located inside the Uniontown Mall.
The Uniontown Liquidation Outlet. Visit us on Facebook, Uniontown Liquidation Outlet.
Hope to see you soon.
Films looking a little different on the big screen these days?
Miranda? Movie fans are noticing films like the new Devil Wears Prada 2 look darker and blurrier than they used to. Viral posts compare scenes from the shadowy sequel to the brightly lit 2006 original. With the director and cinematographer the same, what gives? Indie filmmaker James Davini, co-host of Raiders of the Lost Pod.
Most films look like they're shot like iPhone portrait mode. Your lead character is in focus and the background is completely out of focus. No matter what it is, they're shooting with longer lenses, so the longer the lens, the shallower the depth of field.
Davini blames bottom-line focused execs who opt for digital shoots over film. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
The Eta Aquariid meteor shower is underway, carrying debris from Halley's Comet, but a bright moon will make it tough to see this year. It's set to peak on Tuesday night into Wednesday. Allison Keys, CBS News.
Are you looking to list or sell your house? Now is the time to let the professionals at Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty help you with all of your real estate needs. Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty has 2 convenient locations to better serve you. In Uniontown area, 724-437-7100, or in Connellsville area, 724-628-7200, and speak with one of our real estate professionals. Visit our website, caldwellbanker.com. We have been proudly serving Western Pennsylvania area for over 30 years and look forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs. Broker Paul Borch Jr.
Now is the perfect time to upgrade your outdoor area with a new fence from All Around Fence Company, conveniently located at 7896 National Pike, Uniontown. All Around Fence has been installing quality residential, commercial, and farm fencing for more than 45 years, offering residential fencing including chain link, decorative aluminum, steel, and more. All Around Fence has the fence for you. All Around Fence is also your one-stop shop for Nutrena products and also carries livestock, equine, and pet supplies. So if you need to upgrade an existing fence, add a new gate, or are considering the installation of an all-new fence, All Around Fence has the answers you need. Visit them Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 to 1. Or give them a call at 724-439-0331. To learn more, visit allaroundfence.com.
April savings are in full bloom at Economy Furnace Company, bringing unbeatable deals on comfort and efficiency. For a limited time, enjoy $500 off a new air conditioning installation or save $1,000 on a complete heating and cooling system upgrade. Keep existing equipment running strong with a discounted $99 tune-up designed to boost performance and extend system life before the summer heat arrives. Economy Furnace Company proudly partners with Amana, a trusted name in American-made HVAC systems known for reliability, innovation, and long-lasting quality. Whether upgrading or maintaining current equipment, these April offers make it more affordable to stay comfortable all year long. Backed by expert installation, trusted service, and exceptional value, Economy Furnace Company is committed to keeping homes cool, efficient, and worry-free. Don't miss these limited-time savings. Call Economy Furnace Company at 724-438-4575. Comfort and quality have never been a better deal.
For economy, price, and quality service, call Economy Furnace.
Do you need a fast, friendly notary service that is open in the evening? Sandy Howell Notary Services is here for you, offering new PA and West Virginia plates and ready to assist with your vehicle, boat, motorcycle, and ATV registrations and transfers, plate renewals, and more. Serving Fayette County and all surrounding areas, open weekdays from 10 to 8:30 and Saturdays from 9 to 5. Sandy Howell Notary Services, Dry Knob Road, Smithfield. Call 724-564-8955. Big enough to serve you, small enough to know you by name.
Warm weather means you'll be spending more time outside. So enjoy your deck or patio with retractable or fixed awnings from Lifetime Awnings. Made in the USA with manufacturer and customers guarantees, Lifetime Awnings products last. Lifetime Awnings is veteran-owned and operated with a 10% discount to all military veterans and their families. Call Lifetime Awnings 724-554-6067 or email John, the owner, at lifetimeawningsusa@gmail.com.
Your local station, WMBS.
Welcome back on board for hour number 2 of the Sportsline, being brought to you this morning by my good friend Tom Vernon and Casey Sports Cafe, located right here on South Mount Vernon Avenue in Uniontown, Firestone Insurance Agency in Normalville, and by Bogies at Duck Hollow, now under new management. And welcome back on board. George Von Benko with you as we forge ahead into a jam-packed second hour. Today is the day for the Run for the Roses, the first Saturday in May. Always the running of the Kentucky Derby, 152nd running of the race at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. And as I always do for the Triple Crown races, the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes, I've got my handicapper friend, Tom Wright, on the line. Tom, long time we haven't spoken since last year for the Triple Crown races. First of all, how are you doing, and welcome to the show.
Very good. Thank you, George. And before we get really started, I just wanted to offer my condolences for your loss of Ray Gross this week.
Ray Goss.
So I was Ray Goss.
Ray Goss.
I was very sorry to hear that.
Well, I was too. We worked together for almost 20 years on Duquesne basketball, and he was a great friend, and he passed away on Tuesday. I did not mention that in my sports obituaries, and I should have, but Ray Goss, a great 58 years behind the mic for Duquesne basketball, the longest play-by-play voice in college history when he passed away earlier this week at age 89. Thank you for those thoughts, though, Tom. I really appreciate that.
Not a problem. I mean, he was on the radio there when I was at school, so right. I know it well.
Yes. 152nd running of the Kentucky Derby. Overcast skies expected in Louisville. They're saying the rain may hold off. It is a big field, 20 horses, Tom.
Yeah, we've had an awful lot of scratches, the most recent one this morning was the Puma, who allows the last of the also eligibles into the field. So if there is another scratch, we will run with less than 20 horses, which has been an awful long time since that's happened.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about that before we get into the nuts and bolts of the race. As seasoned as some of these horses are, none of them are going to have faced what they will face today. Most of them have not run the Derby's 10 furlong distance. Notable exceptions are Danon Bourbon and Wonder Dean, the two Japanese entrants. Both won their mile and 1/4 races. And Emerging Market and Pavlovian, who contested the 1 3/16 mile Louisiana Derby. Other than that, the other horses have not run this distance before.
Exactly. And that's what really makes it the first time that they really have to step out and get that kind of distance, which makes that last quarter of the race, so last eighth of the race, so interesting.
And we mentioned the size of the field. None of these horses have ever run in a 20-horse field.
Danon Bourbon ran in a field. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but it was a very big field. I'm thinking it was 14.
Six Speed, according to what I saw, has run twice and won facing 15 other horses. But as you well know, in a field like this, it's always ripe for chaos, and even the best jockey and trainer, their plans go out the window if the horse doesn't break well in a field this size.
Yeah, that's especially true for the inside horses, because if they don't break it well and establish position, then you have the rest of the field moving over on top of them. So sometimes a horse can get shuffled back, really not any other problem other than not gaining an early position.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of the inside horses, the favorite, Renegade, is running from the inside position.
Yeah, he drew the one hole. I'm a little surprised. If you had asked me a month ago who my favorite was for the Derby, I would have said that horse. Since then, they kept the horse away from Churchill. They had just 2 works, and when they came into the Downs last Saturday, they quietly got a new farrier to come out and see the horse. The horse has been dealing with a quarter crack in its hoof ever since the Arkansas Derby.
Wow.
So not only does he have that kind of inside, the other problem he has is around the one hole, because this particular horse doesn't have early speed. So he's not going to be able to establish an early position. As a deep closer, he's going to find that the whole field has now moved over in front of him.
So he may run into some problems in this ride.
He really is. And, I'll just add a little bit more the reasons that I'm negative on him. Todd Pletcher has run 17 horses in the Derby that was less than 9-1. He's won 2 of those and finished third 3 times out of 17 starts. Now, if we look at the rest of the ones he's run, he had 18 horses between 10-1 and 19-1. None of them hit the board. And of the 31 horses that he's had over 20-1, only 2 finished second and 1 finished third. So his training statistics for the Derby itself are very, very poor.
Wow. Okay, so that puts a little bit of a question mark next to that horse in my mind. The other horse that I've heard so much about, and I'd like you to comment on him, is Commandment. So
Commandment's a very, what I'll call a grinder. He wins. He finds a way to get through the crowd. For instance, in the Florida Derby, he was back coming off of the turn. and kind of grinded his way down to just nip the Puma at the wire. He hasn't looked particularly great on the track this week, and I've heard rumors that he's really just body sore.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's get to who we like in the race. A horse that I am very interested in, and tell me whether I'm completely off base with this or not, is Further Ado.
Further Ado comes into the Derby as my top choice. He is the fastest horse in this race. Now, he's going to have to buck a couple trends. The winner of the Bluegrass has not won the Derby since 1991, Strike the Gold. We had the most recent winner of the Derby that came out of the Bluegrass was Street Sense.
Mm-hmm.
So with the last few years, that has not been one of the best prep races to come out of. This particular horse ran a spectacular race at Keeneland as a 2-year-old prior to the Breeders' Cup. This race that he just ran, again, the Bluegrass, was his first race as a 3-year-old, and again, at Keeneland, he ran absolutely the fastest figure that we're looking at in this bunch.
So I'm not completely out of my mind by looking at that horse.
He's my top choice. I think you have to. It's hard to knock a horse that's the fastest horse in the race.
Okay, another horse that I don't know an awful lot about. I picked up on him the other day. Heard some people talking about him. Chief Wallaby.
So Chief Wallaby is trained by Billy Mott, who gave us the Sovereignty last year. He's a horse that did not run as a 2-year-old. Kind of interesting this year, we have 4 horses in the race that did not run as 2-year-olds. And other than Justify, you go all the way back to Apollo before that has happened. But the horses that did not run at 2 are Emerging Market. Oh, Puma is now out, so we have 3. Emerging Market, Potente, and Chief Wallaby. So Chief Wallaby's second race this year was a very strong race. I think he didn't have the greatest of trips in the Florida Derby. He was trying to get out, and when he tried to make his move, he was bumped a bit by Commandment. Commandment seemed to have first jump. I will tell you that Chief Wallaby has looked great on track this week. He was the only Derby starter that was actually out on the track this morning. So he's already out stretching his legs. I can see using him underneath, but he would have to improve very much to finish in the money, to win the race.
Okay. When I was looking at the odds, and I haven't heard an awful lot of people talking about the horse, but the last odds I saw on him, and it's probably changed because you have a better access to the odds than I do right now. So Happy was at 6-1 the last time I looked.
Yeah. So I can understand. He is one of the faster horses in the race. His last race at Santa Anita, winning the Santa Anita Derby, was very, very strong. He's improved greatly since his first start at 2. My only issue I have is that particular trainer, Mark Glatt, doesn't have a great record here at Churchill. He's actually 0 for 8. He hasn't hit the board in the 8 horses he's shipped to Churchill since 2025.
Okay. So we've covered most of the horses. I will tell you this. This is sort of just me in deference to something that's going to happen. Aqueduct Racetrack, which opened in 1894, is closing permanently at the end of June. And I'm going to just put a couple bucks on the nose as a sentimental favorite. The final winner of the Wood Memorial at Aqueduct is a horse called Albus, running out of the number 2 hole. And just in honor of Aqueduct closing and him winning the Wood Memorial, I'm just going to put $2 on his nose. He probably doesn't have much of a chance.
Well, the big thing that's jumped out at me for that horse is really the Wood itself. The Gazelle was run nearly 2 seconds faster on a pace standpoint than the Wood, so it was not a very good addition to win. But I understand the nostalgia there. I completely get it.
Right. Okay. So you really like the horse. You really like the horse that I like. Further ado, give me the rest of your picks.
So the next two horses that I think you absolutely have to use is Dannon Bourbon and Wonder Dean, both the Japanese horses.
That is really interesting. Both Japanese horses. That's very interesting.
Yes. Yeah. Wonder Dean won the UAE Derby running down 6 speed. So that was one of the faster races when you compare total time. The horse that's also coming from Japan, which Dannon Bourbon, Dannon stands for Master of the House. So I found that a little interesting. But the really big thing is this is an American-bred horse. He's out of Maxfield. He was sold at one of the Keelan yearling sales. The horse, if you ever get a chance, jump on YouTube and watch his 3 races. He first race was at 1 1/8 and he jumps out to the lead and goes on to win by, I think, 14 lengths, something like that. His second race, he tucked in maybe second or third, and when it came to the final turn, he lets go, and he again wins by like 9 lengths. And his last race was a big field as well, and he came from behind to win. And that was the race. I've forgotten the meters, but it's just over 1 3/16. So you have a horse that's coming in with 3 very, very solid races, all 3 winners. You also have a horse whose connections have been here before. A couple of years ago, they ran a horse called T.O. Passport. That horse was a front runner, but in the Derby, he got stuck on the inside and got shuffled back. At one point, coming off the turn, he was in 18th. He came on like a freight train to finish 5th. So these connections know what they're doing. And the more I looked at the horse, again, we're not talking about a foreign breed. We're talking about a horse that was out of the first foals for Maxfield. And I just think he's going to really show us what he has.
So your trifecta,
but I like both of them.
Your trifecta would be Further Ado, Dannon Bourbon, and Wonder Dean. That's your trifecta?
I can see one of the Florida Derby horses finishing in there or emerging market. I tend to lead towards emerging market. And then you can finish out the superfecta with the Florida horses.
The Florida horses, again, are
Commandment and Chief Wallaby. Now that the Puma's out.
Who we talked about. So
right.
Just play around. You can move those around. You can box things. You can do all sorts of things, right?
Both Japanese horses, I believe Dannon is 12-1, and I believe, well, the last time I saw it was 12-1, and Wonder Dean, I believe, was 20-1.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think a great exacta box is Further Ado with the 2 Japanese horses. That's what I would recommend people to do. And like I said, if you want to mix up the horses that we spoke about, So Happy, Renegade, if you think he's really the best horse in the race and works out a trip from the 1 hole, I can't knock you for using that horse.
Okay. So, I am surprised that I actually liked the horse that you liked. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, Tom. Even a blind squirrel finds an acorn once in a while, Tom.
I will throw out one more horse. If you're looking for that like Richie Rich superfecta, use both of the Japanese horses with Further Ado, and maybe you use Golden Tempo for fourth. That's a horse that's going to put in one long run, and they hope it's going to be enough to hit the board. That's Sheree DeVoe, the woman trainer, and no woman trainer has hit the board in the Kentucky Derby.
As always, great information. Before I let you go, anything else going on? I count on you to keep me up to breast with what's going on in the racing world. Anything else of interest that we should know about in horse racing right now?
So, again, there's been an awful lot of scratches here. The state vet has been, and HISA, have been extremely cautious in what they are letting run. So they're, again, trying to make sure that we have less breakdowns of horses, especially when it's nationally televised. So I keep having my eye on Renegade and whether or not the state vet lets that horse run.
Do you think there's still a chance that they may pull him?
Yeah. And, the owner, Rapoli, the New York guy, just 2 years ago had the favorite scratch while they were going to the post. That was Forte.
Right, okay.
So I think it's still possible.
So 6:57 is listed as post time. Enjoy it. I think it's going to be overcast, but they're saying they're probably going to be dry. It's not going to be any rain. Enjoy the race as we always do, and I will talk to you next time when we run for the Black-Eyed Susans, right? When is that? That's coming up in 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yep. Second Saturday this year, it's at Laurel Park while they are under construction at Pimlico.
Are they still under construction at Belmont?
Yes.
Okay.
So it will be held at Saratoga again this year.
All right. Hey, thank you very much. As always, great to catch up with you, and enjoy the race. Okay? Take care.
Thank you. Have a great day, George. Best of luck.
All right. Bye-bye. And that is our Kentucky Derby preview. And we're going to get a break in. I'm glad he brought up Ray Goss because I felt so bad about Ray passing away on Tuesday. 17 years I worked with Ray Goss on Duquesne basketball. Great gentleman. And he was involved in an auto accident in April that I actually did not know about. I had not talked to Ray in a while, and I think that contributed to what happened. But we lost Ray Goss, 58 years behind the mic for Duquesne basketball on Tuesday. We'll be back with my good friend, John Parado, and some baseball talk right after this.
You can go to Big Box Medical Office.
Now serving number 3,943.
Or
Hi, come on in. How are you?
for personal, professional health care you can trust. See Dr. Paul Hardley and nurse practitioners Tara Bozak, Jessica Reckhart, and Stacy Morris, proudly serving our community for over 30 years. Need care today? Walk-ins are always welcome. For your primary care, call Dr. Paul Hartley at 724-437-1109 or visit ppcp.org. Or
serving number 3,940.
Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group of Janie Montgomery Scott in Uniontown is a proud sponsor of Sportsline. When you work with Janie, it's about going beyond investing. It's about connecting your life and your finances in a way that makes sense for you. The team partners with you through each stage of life to help you set and reach your financial goals. To learn more about the Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group at Janie, be sure to check out their website at www.lhwag.com. Laurel Highlands Wealth Advisory Group of Janie Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC.
Chris Parker Jr. This warm weather makes me think about a vacation getaway.
The Hyundai Getaway sales event is still on. You can get away not only in a brand new Hyundai, you'll get away with low APR financing and our great selection of over 150 new cars in stock.
I'm listening.
How about a new 26 Tucson with 0% financing for 60 months, plus no payment for 90 days? There are fantastic lease specials too. Lease an Elantra SE for $189 per month, or 26 Kona SE for $229 per month. And there's a great lease incentive of up to $5,500 on the all-wheel drive 26 Tucson Limited.
Plus Hyundai owner assurance, America's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain protection, and 5-year unlimited miles roadside assistance with every new Hyundai purchased. Autoland Hyundai, 25 East Fayette Street, downtown Uniontown, or visit their website, AutolandHyundai.com.
And remember, you'll always pay less to drive the best at Autoland Hyundai.
NovaCare Rehabilitation in Uniontown is accessible for all of your recovery needs. New at NovaCare is pelvic floor physical therapy, a specialized program to treat patients with pelvic floor dysfunction related to bladder, bowel, sexual function, and pregnancy postpartum. These issues can affect both women and men and include urinary frequency, urgency and incontinence, pelvic pain, constipation, IBS, menopause, painful periods, and more. Call 724-437-0556 for an appointment in Uniontown. Personalize your care with NovaCare. In 1986, the Firestone Insurance Agency in Normalville was started with a promise to provide clients with truthful, friendly, and courteous service. It worked. With an expanded client base, the Firestone Insurance Agency's customers are now able to choose from over 20 well-known insurance companies. So whether it be auto, home, business, or life, Firestone has you covered, and the promise to provide truthful, friendly, and courteous service is still in place. As an independent insurance agency, the Firestone Insurance Agency works for you. They do the shopping for you to save you time and a bunch of needless phone calls. Because let's face it, no one loves to shop for insurance. Call the office at 724-455-3900 or visit firestoneinsurance.net. Can't make it to Normalville? Let the Firestone Insurance Agency bring service right to your kitchen table. The Firestone Insurance Agency, 724-455-3900 or firestoneinsurance.net. Doing what is right for the customer, finding the most affordable rates while making sure there are no coverage gaps so you are fully protected from the unforeseen.
Are delinquent credit cards, medical bills, and personal loans stressing you out? Are you unable to catch up? Are the debt collection calls just too much? If yes, then call Zebley Law at 724-439-9200. Zebley Law provides free in-person consultations. Then, using our decades of experience, we recommend a plan for relief. Before hiring a debt relief company or an out-of-town bankruptcy firm, call the local law firm serving Fayette, Washington, and Greene counties since 2001. Call Zebley Law at 724-439-9200.
Hi, this is Pat Narduzzi from the University of Pittsburgh, and you're listening to the Sportsline with George Von Benko on WMBS.
And welcome back to the Sportsline. And we're going to talk some baseball now with a long-time friend. I've known this guy for an awful long time. Been in a lot of press boxes with him. Long-time baseball writer, knows the game about as well as anybody. And I always enjoy my conversations with him. And I'm talking about John Parado. John, good morning to you. It's been a rough week for me personally with the loss of Ray Goss on Tuesday, who I worked with for many, many years. And then, of course, a great baseball guy here in Western Pennsylvania passed away on Thursday night, former Connellsville head coach Tom Sankovich.
Well, I had not heard about Tom. I knew that Ray Goss had passed, and that's such sad news. All those many, many years calling Duquesne games, and, of course, Tom Sankovich, a true legend in Western Pennsylvania baseball, especially on the high school level in the WPIAL.
All it means, my friend, is you and I are not getting any younger.
True. True. Very true.
But we're still on the right side of the turf, and the baseball season is underway. The Pirates got out of the gate very quickly. They've stumbled a little bit. They righted the ship a little bit last night. I still think they're maybe a year away. I think there are some warts that they cannot get away from. I don't like their third base situation, which they didn't address during the offseason. I think they may have the worst outfield defense in baseball, and that's going to affect things when you've got your pitching staff set up the way it is when you're depending on pitching. I don't know how you feel about them, but I think they're better, but I don't know if they've got enough to make it into the dance.
You don't need to be a great team now with the expanded playoffs to get there. So, the last year, the last team got in with 83 wins. So I think it's possible the Pirates can make it, but I'm of the same thought as you are. I think they're one hitter short, and the most logical place for that hitter to play would be third base. And I do think their bullpen could use one more impact arm, and perhaps maybe that happens when Jared Jones comes off the injured list. He moves back into rotation, and they move Karma Majinski back to the bullpen, which for whatever reason, they keep trying to make him a starting pitcher, and he's not a starting pitcher. He's a reliever, and
No, they're not.
I
They're
think
not
if you
serving
get him back there.
Yeah, they're not serving him well by doing what they're doing to him. He's much better as a relief pitcher. He really is.
I think if you have him, you have Matson and Soto and Santana in the 6th or 9th innings, you have a pretty good back end foursome there. But right now, I think they're definitely one arm short in the bullpen, maybe two.
Well, the shopping list I had during the offseason, and don't get me wrong, I think they've improved. I like some of the moves there. I think getting Ryan O'Hearn. When I told Tom Holliday, Matt's father, that the Pirates had acquired Ryan O'Hearn, he was over the top. He said, "You guys got a dog. He is a hitter. He can flat out hit." He was very excited about that. I like some of the moves they made. They just didn't go far enough, and I know they were looking at Suarez. You know, John, I felt all along he was never going to sign in Pittsburgh. The ballpark is not right for him with that deep left field. Yeah.
No, and it turns out I think the Reds kind of regret it too. He hasn't played well. He's on the injured list now, and you know I think the guy the Pirates should have signed, and I know everyone will say, well, yeah, it's easy to say now, but I thought so at the time, was the third baseman Murakami from Japan, who is leading the major leagues in home runs with the White Sox. And you know, a lot of the so-called experts said, well, he's going to get a 9-figure contract. He's out of the Pirates' price range. White Sox signed him for 2 years and $34 million. And I think
very affordable.
Very affordable for a guy with that kind of power. And I mean, he hit 57 home runs one year in Japan. And I realize the Japanese league is the same as the big leagues, but it's comparable to like AAA. So I mean, it's like this guy. You know, I was surprised the Pirates didn't make a better offer for him.
Well, and I think they could have too, because Osuna is what Osuna is. He's strictly a DH. You can't use him in any other capacity, which hamstrings you in other areas when you got to play other guys in the outfield when you don't want to play them and things like that. But that money, they probably could have done the DH by committee with some of the guys that they got and spent the money on third base. That's the way I feel about it.
Well, that was the most baffling part. They didn't sign McCutchen because they didn't want to have somebody locked in as a full-time DH, which they did with Andrew last year, and they thought that hurt their flexibility, you know, as far as
they went out and did that.
And then they did the same thing. Yeah, I mean, they got the same type of player, although, I mean, Osuna's got theoretically more power than McCutchen, but he hasn't really shown it this year. But, yeah, it's odd. They did some really good things in the offseason. I think Brandon Lau was a great pickup. Ryan O'Hearn was a great pickup. Osuna, I wasn't all that excited about. I think Gregory Soto was a good free agent signing as a lefty reliever. But yeah, it's like they went up to a point and then they stopped.
Right.
Like just stopped short. It's almost like they were moving the ball in football. And they got down to the 5-yard line and they just stopped. They didn't go in the end zone.
They ran a reverse and got thrown for a loss or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like
that. And that was, you know, and that's too bad. I mean, because, I mean, they're not that far away from being a really good team. I mean, I think they're a decent team now. They're certainly better than they've been in the last 5, 6, 7 years. But, you know, they could have done more. And they still wouldn't have had to bust a budget. It's not like they'd had to have a $200 million payroll. They could have got a little bit more help without spending an extravagant amount of money.
Right. Well, on the other thing I was curious about, and I realize they're waiting on Jared Jones, and we don't know what's going to happen with him coming off the injury, but they could have very easily, I think, and we're talking budget once again, they wouldn't have had to break the bank. They could have gotten a veteran arm to take the place of where Majinski is right now.
Yeah, and I was really surprised, and especially in that ballpark and the way that they've been able to turn around veteran left-handers' careers over the years since they've moved into that ballpark. I really thought they needed to go get a left-handed starter, and not again, not like somebody like at $20 million a year, but there were guys out there for $5, $6, $7, $8 million that they could have signed, and they just, and they went with Jose Urquidy instead, and that just didn't make any sense to me at all that they signed Urquidy, and I think they need a lefty in the rotation. I know they have 5 good right-handers, but in that ballpark, left-handers do so well that I just think, I'd want to have at least one in my rotation.
I think so, too. The other area that just is glaring when I look at it. Now, I don't want to throw him under the bus. He did do well last night, but that doesn't mean he's turned things around. I still think their catching is a big weak spot.
Yeah, it's funny, they talk about their catching depth and how they have 4 catchers on their 40-man roster, which is more than most teams have. But they have 4 catchers, but in reality, they have none. I mean, they had none of the 4 starting caliber catchers. They have 4 backup catchers on their 40-man roster. And, I know Henry Davis hit 2 home runs last night. And, every time you're ready to totally write him off, you'll have a game like that. And you'll say, well, no, I see what they see in him. I see why they keep him. But now he won't get another hit for 10 days after last night.
I hearken back to when they drafted him. And that I know a lot of the scouts. I used to hang out and have dinner with those guys at the ballpark. And I didn't like any of the reports the scouts were giving me about him at that time. There were doubts about him back when he was drafted.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, he's turned out to be kind of the reverse.
Yeah, he's a better defensive catcher.
Thought they were getting. They I think the Pirates thought, well, maybe they would have to move him to another position. But now he's turned into be a good defensive catcher, which he wasn't coming out of college, but he can't hit, and that was the whole point of why they drafted him in the first round, or number 1 overall, is for offense. And now he's ended up being he'd be a good backup catcher on a good team. Right. He'd be a good number 2 guy.
What do you think of
the 40 games a year?
What do you think of the odd splits with the catchers? The difference is when Davis is catching as opposed to when Bart is catching, and what happens with the pitching staff when you look at those splits?
Well, the pitchers definitely like pitching to Davis more. They won't say so publicly, but, I mean, you can kind of read between the lines when they do talk about pitching to Davis. Bart is just not a very good defensive catcher, and, so my feeling is if you have 2 catchers that aren't going to hit, you might as well play the guy that's better defensively, and that's definitely Henry Davis now, which I honestly, like 2 years ago, never thought I would ever say that, which is a credit to him.
Well, it is. He worked on that part of his game. I give him all the credit in the world for that, John. Yeah. I do. Yeah.
But I think long term, it's something they're going to have to address. They have a kid named Easton Carmichael in high A, but I mean, he's at least a couple of years away, and he's not like a surefire 100%. He's going to be a good big league catcher either, and they really don't have anybody in the minor leagues. They have Endy Rodriguez at AAA, and I think he just, between injuries and just being a little overrated, he's not the guy that they thought he was going to be. And they just, like I said, they have a bunch of catchers, but in reality, they don't have any.
Well,
at least any of the starting caliber.
What really sets a fire under my bottom is when you think that they traded Bednar for what they thought was going to be a really, really good catcher. No. Right? The guy from the Yankees.
No. And that was the guy I couldn't think of earlier, Flores. Yeah, I mean, I only saw him catch like one time last year in person, so I can't. But, you talk to scouts, you talk to, other people, executives, talent evaluators, and they all think he's going to be a first baseman, which is okay. If he can pop you 25 or 30 homers a year, then that's fine. But if he ends up being a guy that only hits 10 or 12 homers a year, he doesn't have that much value as a first baseman. But yeah, it's you would just think when you have that many catchers, and I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but you would think out of those four, somebody would shake out as a number one guy in the big leagues, and none of them have.
Oh, what I would give for Spanky Lavalier and Don Slott.
Yeah, it's or even Jason Kendall and Keith Osick.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, they've they haven't really had a good catcher since Francisco Cervelli, in my estimation. They had Russell Martin there, and then they had Francisco Cervelli, and ever since then it's kind of been although Jacob Stallings was a good defensive catcher,
He was a good defensive
Jacob really didn't hit. But
are you surprised by the National League Central? Some of the other baseball folks I've talked to, the Central has been very strong this year, and anytime they talk about divisions, they always rate the National League Central as one of the weaker ones, but the teams are playing very well. Are you a little surprised by the way they're playing?
Yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't have guessed we'd be at May 2nd and all five teams would have records over 500. That really surprises me. I think I look at the teams, and I think in my mind the Cubs have the best overall talent, but they don't strike me as a great team. If you know what I'm getting at there, I mean, they're good, but I don't think wow, they're a 95 win team. The Brewers, they're always decent, but at some point you keep trading every year, and eventually it's going to be hard to just keep overcoming losing some of your better players because you have to trade them. And I wonder if this is the year that kind of catches up to the Brewers a little bit. And the Reds, I don't know if they're going to win the division. The Cardinals, I thought, were going to have a rough year, but I tell you what, and I'm not just saying it because they swept the Pirates here this week, 4 games. I was impressed, and I was talking to Ollie Marmol, their manager, for quite a while earlier this week when they were in town, and he seems to think they're not this isn't just like a fluky thing that they're over 500. He thinks they're better than people thought they were going to be coming into the season.
Well, they sweep the Pirates and then go beat the Dodgers last night.
Yeah. And I mean, they have some really good young players. They have Mason Wynn, the Gold Glove winning shortstop, and this kid from Mars, WVU, J.J. Weatherholt, the second baseman. He looks to me, and I don't want to get too carried away after 35 games into his career, but he sure looks to me like he's going to be a perennial all-star type player. And they have Jordan Walker in right field, who has kind of struggled until this year, and it seems like he's putting it all together now at 24. And I don't think they have the pitching to be a playoff team, but they certainly have a core of what could be a really good team here in another year or two.
Is that where the Pirates have the edge in the division? Their pitching, for the most part, seems to be better than everybody else, at least starting pitching-wise.
Yeah,
I still have problems with the middle relief that you and I talked about earlier. I think there's some problems there, but I think starting pitching-wise, the Pirates probably have the strongest staff.
Yeah, I would too, and I think you can make a case that they're probably top 5 in all the major leagues, just not only the best in the division. And if you get Jones back, and they're hoping they won't give a timeline, but I think probably by the end of this month or early in June he'll be back. And if he comes back and pitches well, and you move Majinski to the bullpen, then you have an even better rotation. And I mean, those guys are all young too, and it's really impressive. I was talking to somebody the other day. I can't remember who it was. And we were talking, and they asked me if I thought this was the Pirates' best rotation since all the years I've been covering baseball. And I said, well, potentially it is. I mean, they have 4 guys, and when Jones come back, they have five really good big league pitchers. And I mean, and 4 of them are under 26 or younger. Keller's the only one; he's 30. So I really like their starting pitching, and it's funny because when you think of the Pirates, you don't think of starting pitching. There was never that great starting pitcher in franchise history. Like a Bob Gibson or a Sandy Koufax or some Bob Feller or somebody like that. They never had that guy, and it seems odd in my lifetime to see the Pirates relying so much on pitching instead of hitting.
Interesting. I'm going to ask a question before I let you go that somebody brought up earlier in the show, and I know that the labor talks and everything are simmering in baseball, but it doesn't look good. I was talking with a couple of people last week, and a lot of people seem to feel that it's either going to be a strike or a lockout, but they think they're headed to no baseball next year. Do you get the same feeling?
It's going to be a lockout, yeah, on December. As soon as the contract expires on December 1st, the owners will lock the players out. And, it's just a matter of how long it'll be. Nobody seems very optimistic on either side that it's going to be a quick agreement. And, it's really sad because, baseball's kind of had a little resurgence in popularity, especially with the kids. And, it's cool again to like baseball if you're a teenager or a kid or what have you. Their TV ratings have been good. I mean, they had a terrific World Series last year, and there's a lot of momentum going in baseball right now, and I'd hate to see it all end at the end of this season and have either a delay to the start of next season or, there's some people see an Armageddon situation where there is no baseball next year, kind of like how hockey was 1 year and the NBA almost was.
And you know what? When we've had situations like this in the past, it took a while for the fans to come back.
Yeah. And the fans are there now. They're setting attendance records. A lot of the changes they made as a traditionalist, George, I didn't think I was going to like the pitch clock. I didn't think I was going to like you can only make 2 pickoff throws. But I tell you what, I like it. The game's better now because of it. It moves along faster. There's not as much dead time, but you still have the nuances of the game. And it's, I don't give Rob Manfred credit very often because he doesn't deserve a lot of credit.
Right.
But I'll say this, the pitch clock and now this ABS system, I like the ABS system too. I didn't think I was going to like it.
I like all the things that they've done with pitching.
Yeah.
I do. The only thing that drives me crazy is I wish they'd push it back a couple innings. I don't like starting with the runner on second base that early. I wish they'd give it a couple of innings to play it the regular way.
I was that way too, and I'm probably going to lose my grumpy old man card by saying this, but I like it. I do, and I didn't think I was going to like it, but the first time it was during the pandemic because that's when no one was in the stands, and the Tigers were playing the Pirates at PNC Park, and the game went to extra innings. It was one of the very first games after they started that pandemic-shortened season, and I thought, oh, God, here we go. And then it was like it was different, and I like it. I really do, and again, I have a hard time warming up to Rob Manfred, but I have to give credit where it's due. A lot of these ideas that I wasn't real hot about when they first talked about them, they've really worked, and they've made it a better product. It really has.
Well, John, as always, great catching up with you. Thank you for giving me the time. Hopefully, I'll see you soon. I've been trying to get down to the ballpark, but I've got some things going on. But I'll get down there and surprise Danny Hart. He'll say, "Who's this guy?" But in any case, thank you very much for the time. You take care.
Sounds good, George. Thanks for having me. Look forward to see you at the ballpark soon.
All right, take care. John Parado, great baseball talk. We'll wrap things up right after this.
Is your lawn getting shaggy? Weeds taking over? Maybe it's time for a full yard cleanup or fresh mulch and clean, crisp edges to bring your landscape back to life. Whatever your lawn needs, Z's Ground Control has you covered. They do it right the first time. Call 724-366-9150 today for your free estimate. Z's Ground Control. You grow it, we mow it.
The wait is over. It's time to manja. Manja featuring Delalo is now open at Live Casino. Part market, part cafe, Manja offers fresh, authentic pasta, pizza, hoagies, salads, ice cream, cocktails, and more made with Delalo's finest ingredients. Eat in, grab and go, or take home a taste of Italy from our retail market. Meet you at Manja featuring Delalo. Now open inside Live Casino, Route 30 at Westmoreland Mall. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Bright Stripe, Bay County's premier asphalt seal coating professionals, locally owned by Matt and Lexi George. Bright Stripe specializes in residential and commercial asphalt seal coating, also excelling in line striping and layouts, thermoplastic, and infrared asphalt repair. Bright Stripe has succeeded due to their commitment to quality work for 30 years. Bright Stripe, 724-437-6090, or visit bright-stripe.com. BRITE-stripe.com.
Yeah, they're the people I trust. It's the place I go. Home, warehouse, where a house becomes a home.
March brings spring and home improvement season. Planning a home improvement project with your tax refund? Home Warehouse, a best in Fayette winner for home improvements and windows, is the place to go for all your home exterior needs. Warm weather means more outdoor living. Add value to your home with a new deck. Home Warehouse has a great selection of easy-to-maintain composite decking and vinyl railing, plus siding, shutters, windows and doors, roofing shingles, metal and rubber roofing, soffit and fascia, as well as flooring. So for selection, great prices, and hometown service, see Sandy and Donnie at Home Warehouse, Connellsville Street in Uniontown. They know how to make your house a happy home. Shop Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, Saturday, 8 to noon.
Home, warehouse, where a house becomes a home.
Is it time for your first home or time to trade up to a home that fits your lifestyle? It's time to visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with trade-in and trade-up deals. Imagine beautiful, new, energy-efficient homes packed with the features you've been dreaming about. Trade in and trade up at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. Trade-in value toward purchase of a new home determined by resale value and evaluation by home center manager. Additional deposit may be required.
Looking for a great place to eat in Uniontown? Stop by Casey's Sports Cafe, located at 243 South Mount Vernon Avenue and proudly owned by the Vernon family. Casey's is open Monday and Friday from 7 to 3, Tuesday through Thursday 7 to 7, and Saturday and Sunday 7 to 2. Come check out their new items and delicious entrees. And remember, Casey's can cater your next event. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Casey's is the place to eat. Call 724-550-4126.
Hi, this is Bob Walk, and you're listening to the Sportsline with George Von Benko on your local station, WMBS Uniontown.
And that puts a capper on this edition of the Sportsline. Hope you enjoyed the Derby preview with Tom Wright and some great baseball talk with John Parado, a longtime baseball writer. A really interesting conversation with him. Stick around. Do not touch that dial. My good friend Arnie Amber is waiting in the wings with Oldies Unlimited. He'll take you through the afternoon with some great music on Oldies Unlimited. George Von Benko bidding you and yours a very, very pleasant good afternoon. The Sportsline has been brought to you this morning by my good friend Tom Vernon and KC Sports Cafe, located right here on South Mount Vernon Avenue in Uniontown, by the Firestone Insurance Agency in Normalville, and by Bogies at Duck Hollow, now under new management, serving lunches and dinners Monday through Saturday from 12 to 9, Sunday from 12 to 5. Come on out, enjoy fine dining and a round of golf. Phone 724-439-2150, located at 374 Duck Hollow Road in Uniontown. The news is coming up next from the CBS Radio Network on your local station, 590 AM, 101.1 FM, WMBS, Uniontown, Pennsylvania.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
Allison Keys, the discount airline Spirit is done after 34 years. It's been struggling with rising